Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the Psych coach, and today I'm going to be talking to you about people pleasing. Are you a people pleaser? Do you find yourself constantly accommodating the needs of others to the detriment of your own? Do you find yourself going along with things to help other people, but you don't help yourself? Do you feel resentful about helping people, but don't know how to stop it? Listen up to these 5 tips to help you rein in your people pleasing tendencies if you recognise that you're a people pleaser. Think about the past week. How many times have you done something that in hindsight you probably shouldn't have done, or where your motives for doing it were because you simply wanted to please someone else and completely ignore your own needs? It's totally normal to want to please people. I'm not saying don't please people, but what I am saying is if you constantly do it and neglect your own needs, you probably need to stop. So tip number 1 is to recognise your motives for people pleasing. Behind a lot of people pleasing can be the desire to want to be liked. It can therefore mean that sometimes people will engage in people pleasing because they don't think they're good enough, because they need to prove their worth, because they desperately want to be thought of well by the other person. Think about your motives. If your motive is totally genuine and it's just because actually you want to help them out and it's a skill set you've got and why not, then fine. But if the motives for people pleasing excessively are born out of low self-worth, a desire to be liked, a fear of being thought of badly, not wanting to say no, then I would encourage you to rein it in a bit. So first of all, you need to recognise your motives for some of the people pleasing. Tip number 2 is say no when necessary. As a guideline, if you're feeling overwhelmed because you've got so much on your plate, because you're feeling so stressed, because you've got so many things that you need to fit into your day, you shouldn't be taking on more things. So as an absolute guide, say no when you can, and especially when you feel overwhelmed and you find yourself thinking, well, I'm going to have to drop one of the things I need to do in order to fit this in. Or if you find yourself thinking, I don't know how I'm going to fit this in. Saying no sometimes is really, really good practice, not only for being assertive, but for stopping some of the people pleasing. The problem is, the more you engage in excessive people pleasing and being overly accommodating and being over the top with other people's needs, the more you reinforce the fact, I'm not good as I am, or I'm not good enough as I am. I need to prove myself. I need to prove my worth. I need to really, really show that I'm someone decent. Don't do that. Each time you're able to say no on an occasion, see it as a bit of a triumph. Think to yourself, excellent, that's a chink in the armour of my excessive people pleasing. There may be other times where you choose to people please because you want to, and that's totally fine. But when you say no, give yourself a pat on the back, and when you're feeling overwhelmed, absolutely say no sometimes. Tip number 3 is to recognise you are good enough as you are. We don't need to overcompensate for ourselves. We don't need to engage in excessive pleasing just to prove our worth to people. You are good enough as you are. If that feels a real struggle for you and you think I'm not good enough as I am, I need to prove my worth, then it'll be worth listening to some of my tips on boosting self-esteem. Reminding yourself that you're good enough as you are and that you don't need to constantly overextend yourself will go some way to helping you stop your people pleasing and improve your self-worth. If you can tell yourself, I'm good enough as I am, I don't need to constantly prove my worth, I don't need to be overly kind and overly accommodating, you will help boost your self-esteem in the long run as well. You're worth being boundaried sometimes. Tip number 4 is to delay assistance. If you have people-pleasing tendencies, it's highly likely that when someone around you needs assistance, you will step in straight away. You want to be helpful, you want to be liked, you know how to help someone. And it can be a challenge, but a really, really good one, to try and delay your desire to provide assistance to people. Of course, if someone's in a great big emergency, you're going to want to help them. But if someone needs help, what would it be like to say to yourself, okay, if they still need help tomorrow, I will offer it then. Instead of jumping straight in with, I need to help them now, I'll do whatever I can. Learning to delay assistance will also give you an opportunity to really evaluate if the situation you're about to give a lot of your energy to warrants you giving that amount of energy. Perhaps by allowing the person to sort out the problem they've got for themselves, they will feel more empowered. Perhaps if you give them a bit of time, they'll find someone else that they can reach out to and not become so reliant on you for it. Perhaps if you're slightly less giving with your kindness and your time, those around you may even at times value the times when you help more. So try hard to delay assistance and providing it. That's going to really go against your natural instinct, but again, it will serve you really well, and it will start teaching you to be a little more selective with how you choose to help people and when you choose to help them. And tip number 5 is signposting. If you're a people pleaser, chances are you obviously want to help people yourself. But something that can be really beneficial to not only you as a people pleaser, but also the people around you, is to signpost them on how to get help for themselves. It can be quite empowering for us to learn for ourselves how to help ourselves in difficult situations. So try and see your role at times as a signposter. For example, if you've got a friend who's really experiencing a lot of difficulties, and at times you might feel out of your depth with supporting them, maybe it would be worth pointing them in the direction of an internet-based resource where they may be able to access some help. Maybe it would be worth pointing in the direction of a charity or a therapist that could provide them some help. Maybe it could be a case of providing some literature, you doing some reading around a problem they've got and offering them a book. By offering signposting, you're saying to the person, I want to help you, I'm here to support you, but I also want to facilitate your growth and your ability to sort your own problems out. So allow me to signpost for you. Again, signposting doesn't typically come very easily to people who are people pleasers, because you will often feel like the responsibility is all on you to sort the problem out, and only you. So try and hold in your mind, I am a people pleaser, but I am also a signposter, because that means at times you will farm out people's problems and people's challenges and allow them to sort it out for themselves. Stopping people pleasing is hard, it's not impossible, and of course, you're a human, most of you are going to want to help people, that's fine. But just recognise that if you're feeling resentful about the amount of people pleasing you do, that you think it's playing into your low self-worth, that you think it's impacting your confidence, or it's compromising your ability to do your own tasks, then look at how you can rein it in. Put these 5 tips into practice, review how you're doing on a weekly basis, and I have no doubt you will slowly, bit by bit, reduce the amount of people pleasing you're engaging with. If you've enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will give you plenty more tips on how psychology can help you in your day-to-day life.